Good morning, welcome to the Weekender. Oh boy, do we have a big schedule this weekend.
This weekend and next week, because not this weekend when you're watching this, but the one after is Dropzone Commander weekend.
Yes, we're doing the Dropzone Commander Boot Camp. We are in working all weekend, so we're getting these weekenders out early so as we can continue on with the prep. This weekend, we're building the Dropzone Commander tables. So we developed our own plans for the physical tables themselves, and they've turned out quite well.
They're quite nice.
For this event, they'll look a little bit rough, but we're looking at either painting them, or somebody posted a great link in one of the vlogs that we've done about using kind of a decoupage.
Oh yeah,
comic book decoupage. Basically, Justin, I'm going to decoupage you.
You never did that at school?
No. I'm not actually sure if it's called decoupage. I always thought decoupage was making a two-dimensional image look three-dimensional by raising the layers. But basically what it is you are gluing pages from comic books all over it, okay, and then lacquering it all down. It'll look beautiful. It'll look absolutely beautiful.
I don't want to see comic books destroyed.
Well, we'll not take good ones then.
Well, you don't do good comic books.
No. Oh, okay.
You do well mass-produced stuff, you know, that still looks awesome. But I think that would be a really nice idea. My only concern is with the amount of time that potentially could take.
Yeah. And then the amount of wear we're going to be putting through the tables, because if you start getting gouges and scratches...
Well, it'll all be lacquered. It'll be lacquered, so you know, something like that.
Scratch resistant. There.
Yeah, would be.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
It'd survive. Other than that, we're then working on the tabletops. So we made a commitment that for boot camp weekends, we want our guests to come along to Beasts of War and to play on tabletops that are not unlike the tabletops that you see us play on whenever we're on the shows and on the videos. So they can't be exact, obviously, because, you know, we have to be able to store the stuff. But we've been going into a lot of detail on these Dropzone Commander tabletops at the moment. And we have them that we can still fold them and put them away, so store them for the next boot camp that we do. But whenever they go out, you know, they have all that detailing of overgrown grass and stuff like that. We're averaging at least 15 buildings per table at the moment. So, you know, we have a couple of hundred buildings built. They're all being detailed as well. And our consignment of trees has arrived. So we have lots and lots of trees to do. But, you know, basically, we want these tables to look beautiful because, you know, we understand over the weekend you're probably going to be playing with your unpainted minis. You're never going to get the time to paint them all. But we want you to really get a feel for what we consider to be a big, massive part of the hobby, playing on great gaming tables, and, you know, hopefully encourage you to go home and do the same yourself. As Justin says, all next weekend, there isn't going to be a Weekender next weekend. Instead, we are live blogging the boot camp for the entire weekend because we want to share the experience with all those that couldn't make it of getting into this fabulous game and the crack that we all have over here. I don't mean Breaking Bad type crack.
Yeah.
The other
no, that wasn't crack, was it?
No, that was crystal meth.
Yeah.
I think you got the reference.
Moving on.
It's still
Moving on.
Moorish.
This weekend, I'm also in a hurry because it's my little boy's birthday. My little Manny turns 2 this weekend, and when Savannah turned 2, me and Savannah went and we bought her some army men. So she got her first army when she was, I think she was 2 anyway, and she walked around in a little silver case with this army, and we used to take it to the gaming club in Essex, and we'd lay it out. And basically our rules were, you know, we didn't even roll dice. We just, you know, he's dead, and oh, he fell over.
Yeah, and then every time I was down gaming, I kept finding them hidden beneath tables here. And
yeah.
And it was just me constantly going to word, is this one of Savannah's? Yep. Sorry.
Yep, I'll take that. She also had this cracking little parrot toy that made it into her army that did toxic poo, and it would fly over my army and do toxic poo over them, and then they would all go and run away. It was very fun. But this weekend it's little Manny's second birthday, so I'm going to take him to get you your first army, kiddo. Yeah, I'm going to train you early, boy. So you know, hopefully whenever he's 18. He'll get to see this, and you know, and I get all embarrassed. Hopefully, I'm alive to see it, and if I'm not, well, I love you. So just remember that. Oh. Right, we have stuff to look at. This is a massive, massive weekend because Batman Rulebook is arriving. Justin, you've been looking through it.
Yeah. This has came in, it has not left my side since. I have been reading and pulling out incredible mechanics from this game.
Yeah.
Big standout. The activations are really well thought out because at the start of your turn, you have to plan the actions for each mini and put counters onto your character card to show what you're doing.
So minis have character cards.
Yep.
Yeah. And what's the main style? Like, is there a picture of those character cards in there?
Yeah, I will see if I can quickly find one because there is a ton of backstory into this book. Here we go. So this is what one of your stat cards is going to look like, right?
Right.
So you have things like your movement, your strength, your willpower, and stuff like that.
Yes.
Your willpower determines how many actions you can do.
Yeah.
And at the start of your turn, you're deciding what actions you're going to feed the action points into. So before you even start your turn, you can't just say, okay, I'm activating him, he can do everything.
Yeah.
You're activating him and going, okay, I've planned for him to be in combat this turn. Let's start using those combat actions. So
it's kind of taking that pre-planning that we see in X-Wing, you know, where you're pre-planning your moves, or you would also have seen it in Wings of Glory, that you have that pre-planning. But it's taking that and even like a step further, isn't it?
But your opponent can see your stat cards.
Of course. On X-Wing, it's all hidden, so he doesn't know what you're doing. But in this one, your opponent can start to gauge what you're thinking about doing.
Yeah, and then he can start to plan against it. But then, by the same marker, you get
to go first.
I get to go first, and I can force you to react to my plan.
Yeah.
So say I've set myself up where I have the plan for 2 guys to be going into close combat. You can see it. You know I'm going to get one of them. But you don't know which one.
Right.
So you're having to plan to defend that.
So it puts you on the back foot a bit.
It puts you on the back foot, but the one that I don't get to do it with, if you haven't planned to be able to counter-attack... you've kind of burnt it. You know, so it's very, very deep in the tactics, even at that early stage of the game. And then the actual activations and movements, they're really flowing, and I love them. Because you've got the multiple level boards that we've seen. I mean, like, hang on, I'm going to find my personal favourite from in here.
I'm really looking forward to the movement and the multi-level boards in this.
This is one that Lloyd fell in love with.
Yes.
Joker's Amusement Park. Which, it looks fantastic. You've got the big roller coasters, the Ferris wheel to be running and jumping around. Yeah.
We also have a community member on the forums at the moment who is building his own Joker theme park specifically for the game, and he's doing such a great job of that. Well, we'll try to get the link on here so as you can see it, but it does look fantastic. Now would be a good time, Justin, right? Just to say we haven't spent long enough with the book to guarantee 100% accuracy on what we're telling you here. So, take what we say as an early kind of first look.
Basically, this is me just having got the thing in my hand and going, "That's here, I want it now."
It does look amazing, and the book itself,
it's a gorgeous product,
is just beautiful. You know, it's I think it's just so well put together. It really does. It really does it for me. And one of the great things about this, this and licenses like this, you know, this and X-Wing and Imperial Assault, is the real broad appeal of this. Like we have a guy as part of our team, Tom, who's a video gamer, but never has not a gamer yet. And I was saying to Tom during the blackout last week, Tom, not a lot you can do, but I challenge you. I challenge you, dude. In all the stuff that you've seen us cover over the time you've been with us, I'd like you to try and pick up a bit of hobby yourself. You know, what are you interested in? And his first call straight into Batman.
Yeah.
It was just that broad appeal caught him, and he said straight into it. And we were lucky enough to get him a rule book, and he has the rule book away with him. Well, and absolutely loving it.
For this kind of IP, you already know the characters. You're not trying to break that barrier of what is this world, what's going on here.
It's just
the artwork's gorgeous, the photography is amazing. The guys over at Night Models have done a fantastic job on this.
Yeah. Well, there's another forum thread on Beast of War where they're asking about a Batman themed week. Okay. Hell yeah. Please? Hell yeah. We're just working out the details of it with Night Models. You know, they are busy guys getting rule books out. We have only just received it as well. So, you know, give us some weeks because we've got Salute and stuff coming up. We probably wouldn't even begin filming something like that until after Salute. So you're probably looking at it, you know, if the stars align, we're going to bring the guys from Night Models over specifically to spend some time with us, and we're going to go to town on Batman. Have you had a thought on factions?
I know mine, but I'm going to let these two pick first because I don't want to go shouting out and then...
No, do you know, I'm going to let you pick for us.
Yeah, based on how well you know us and the book.
On how well you know us and what you've seen in this book, what would you pick for us?
I'm going to jump to the showcase because there's a showcase of all the lovely minis in this.
Yeah.
Which I think is near the back here. More artwork, more artwork. So much beautiful
artwork. The
artwork.
point where he loses it.
Yeah.
I think you're way past the showcase. There, first turn.
Like a boss. Right.
Maybe we shouldn't trust his judgment.
No. Warren, you're a big brash guy.
Well, thank you for that, yeah.
I mean it as a compliment. For you, I would pick Batman. Because you would have to play the hero.
Yeah. I've been enamored by Batman ever since Michael Keaton's movie. You know, I watched the series and stuff like that as a kid, but I remember as clear in my mind when I was 12 years old, walking out of the cinema. I think I was 12 anyway. I walked out of the cinema after seeing Batman, and you know that all that testosterone and all those hormones you have as a 12-year-old. I walked out of there quietly, but I felt like I could take on the world. I just wanted to be Batman. All I wanted from that day on for about 2 weeks was, could I not win the lottery or something so that I would have the resources to be able to be Batman?
Well, unfortunately, I don't think they do that particular flavor of Batman, even though they do.
It doesn't matter. I love the Dark Knights from the Nolan series. I think they're better movies.
Yeah,
but I do. You're right. Yeah.
You stick to your first love. Right?
Okay, so I'm going to give you a complete success on that one.
Okay,
yes,
so
absolutely. But I don't want Robin or any of that weird extended family crap.
It's fine because that's the sidekicks.
Yeah, I know some of you guys will maybe love all that. I don't. I want Batman, Commissioner Gordon, and some SWAT police. And I think that would be a cool gang to have on this. So.
Right. Well, obviously, if we have Warren playing Batman.
Yeah.
I can do no less than for myself pick the Joker and his crew.
Ooh.
So you have your arch nemesis on the table. So you've got the Joker, you've got Harley Quinn. Although I would take the Heath Ledger Joker.
You'd take the Heath Ledger Joker.
I like the Heath Ledger Joker.
I don't think you're insane enough for the Heath Ledger Joker.
Why so serious?
I think you're that. I think you're that Joker.
So you think I'm more the Nicholson Joker?
Yes.
Nah.
No, I think, yeah.
All right. Well, hang on. Now I need to find...
What about for him?
Yeah, you're going to offend me now, what you say.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to offend you.
You're going to give him the Riddler. Please tell me you're going to give him the Riddler. Or Mr. Freeze. Get something really, 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 really left-wing.
Let's go with Bane.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because I think John would enjoy playing Bane.
Why? I have the vehicles for it.
Yeah, you have the vehicles for it, which can go down on table. You've got some beautiful minis for the actual Bane character. And I'm not sure if he's part of the League of Shadows or not, but you could be playing with ninjas.
Possibly.
Ninjas and Bane?
Ninjas and Bane. This could be good.
Or just Bane and more of them kind of renegade mercenary soldiers would be a really cool.
Yeah, it would be really good.
Oh, man. So if we did a Gotham, right? But we did a Gotham in a contemporary New York style, like the Nolan movies. every one of our gangs would work, because you're going with the Heath Ledger Joker and his sidekicks. You'd be going with Bane, and I'll be going for a Nolan-esque Batman with Gordon and the SWAT team.
Yeah.
Oh, things are going to get cool here in Beasts of War.
It could make a gorgeous gaming table.
Oh man, if we did a little bit of Docklands, you know, that whole
shipping containers,
the shipping containers, and then the first couple of blocks of the city on a 6x4 board.
Yeah,
that could be really funky. That could be really, really good.
It really could be.
I'm starting to worry now that since, you know, this is the end of my first week on the job, that you're all going to hand me your miniatures and go, these need to be tabletop standard in 48 hours.
That's I think that you don't discount that idea, John.
No, I haven't seen that.
The reason I gave John Bane, though, because as soon as he walks into the Hobby Lab, I knew he had the Bane voice inside his head going, "Oh, your precious armory."
He does it. He does a really good Bane. Go on, do it there for us, John.
Okay. Was it the one I did with Ruman? Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, hello. Welcome to my armory.
Okay. All right. Well, the Batman miniature book is out. We're going to be getting to grips with it.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful, beautiful hardback book. It's a real collector's piece in itself. Congratulations to the guys at Night Models. You know, it's you know, I was left wondering what to expect. We then started to see some sample page layouts, and I thought, oh, this is going to be really sweet. And it's ended up even better than I thought. You know, it's the front cover even has
all embossed.
An embossed texture to
and
it.
So does the limited edition version, which he snagged.
Yeah, I had
Jammy Git.
I had to. Yeah, it's
gorgeous.
It's
I can't
well
wait
worth
to get
it.
deeper into it.
What I like about this, and we're going to be talking about this in backstage, is we're going to be talking about model count on the extra long backstage version of the weekend.
How many minutes do we need?
Yeah, so it'll be a talk about skirmish games versus mass battle, and you know where do we lie at the moment. But what I really like about this is, you know, once you paint up a couple of gangs in this, you're set.
You're away. Yeah.
You are set, and then you can just gradually collect other monsters. Like I'm really interested in the crocodilian guy,
Killer Croc.
Killer Croc,
Big bruiser character. Although I think you might like Clayface as well.
Yeah.
You know, because I love the backstory for Clayface, because he was a model.
Yeah.
Who was scared of getting old, so he got this cream that he put in his face to keep himself young. So it turned his face into clay.
Yeah.
But eventually he used too much of it and just turned into this big mud monster.
He's so excited about this. Well, what I would like to do from our perspective anyway is I think we should go with those gangs that you've picked for us.
Okay.
Okay? I think what we'll do is we'll, for the stuff that we have a crack at, let's go with the more ultra real Nolan-esque kind of Batman.
Does this mean I can't have Harley Quinn?
Yes.
Damn it.
And we will see where we go with it from there.
Yeah.
That's not the only book that came in.
No,
John, like a grumpy teenager, stormed out with the Angel Giraldez book last weekend.
I got messages about it. Is John unwell? Is there something wrong with him? He seems very underwhelmed.
You know, this is John's actively seeking a girlfriend, so John doesn't want to demonstrate too much excitement and passion yet. You're still playing it very cool, dude, aren't you?
I'm trying to play it.
Because somewhere out there, among the legions of Beasts of War fans, is the right one for you. So it's she could be watching this, John.
Okay, I'm going to do something really cheesy. If you're a female gamer...
Oh, no.
Do not send me private messages.
Don't even go down that road.
That's a whole can of worms that we don't need to go down.
You've had a chance to look through the book, yeah?
Yeah.
Hello. I got to flick through this right before you took it. I am so impressed with what he has put together here. Yeah. I mean, it is a stunning book. You know, as a collector's piece for you to refer back to. Yeah. You know, from the point of view of understanding techniques and understanding how techniques layer up. Yeah. It's great. What's been your impressions of it?
The thing that strikes me the most from all of the different tutorials in this, because there's quite a few, is that the same approach to certain things.
Yes.
The same approach to priming and shading. Mm-hmm. All he's doing is changing the color palette, and that is that's what probably one of the key things to take away from this book is the approach to the basics parts.
Yes. Once you start to nail that,
you can start throwing your colors around and seeing what you can do,
and then you just refine it.
Yeah, absolutely. And
any do you want to pick a few pages there?
yes,
Standout pieces. Yeah,
I'm going to pick out a few pages. I'm going to pick out this because the finished miniature is superb.
Now this is one of the pinups.
This is a conversion.
Oh, this is a conversion of a pinup.
Yeah. He's done a couple of these, but he goes through everything from base priming. So, step one, generally he starts it off with 3 layers of this, 3 layers of black, then 3 layers of something else. And he always talks about it being thin layers and, and you're already starting to work on the shading.
So he even primes in layers, whereas the rest of us go,
car body primer, job done.
Much
like the AT-ATs,
Yes.
going outside with like 5 cans of spray and coming back in flying. But he talks in fantastic detail throughout the entire paint, through the entire tutorial, going through absolutely every step possible.
Yeah.
And there's so many photos in here. He'll offer alternative detailed views of a certain part that he's done.
Yeah.
So he'll say
you never have you been left wanting by any of the tutorials, thinking, oh, he didn't show this part or that part. It's all the details.
It's all there.
Yeah,
and superb. Proper skin tone, nice hairs.
I think he's even done makeup on that.
He's done a bit of a blush there.
Yeah,
so, yeah. There was one of my favorite ones here was towards the back. He took his techniques and then he threw what I know was my comfort zone into it. So he did realistic painting as well.
Yes.
And this is another conversion.
Yeah.
Of Scarface. Scarface with a female pilot.
Oh. Well, hang on.
And he basically...
I've seen Scarface.
He basically goes through and does a realistic paint job on top of his usual shading and blending techniques, and using stuff that I've heard of.
So there's a whole bunch of weathering and stuff in this book as well, techniques.
How would I describe it? It's the artist's approach to weathering in a realistic style. So there's a lot more washes used. There's a lot more different types of fluid that he's using. He's using chipping fluid on this, a chipping medium.
Yeah.
A Vallejo chipping medium. So you're actually painting the miniature in its rust colors. Then you're putting the chipping medium over it. Then you're spraying it up normally, and you're taking a brush to break it all off again. A bit like the hairspray technique.
Yes.
Wow. So... I've been left so impressed just by some of the stuff that he's been doing here that I'm actually going to try something. I would like to try something.
Yeah.
And if the community like it, we'll go for it.
Right.
I'm thinking of taking a model from this book and following its paint step by step to see to see what I get out of it.
That's a good idea.
As someone that has never painted really like this before in any sort of serious manner. Yeah. I'd like to see what I can.
So you're going to take Giraldez's tutorial.
Yep.
And follow it on camera to see how close you can replicate what he has done.
Yep.
So reaching forth to touch the hand of God?
Essentially, as someone who is a novice to that style, but not a novice to painting in general.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things. There's a lot of techniques in there that I've not done before. So
please say yes. Please say yes to that. I want to make that happen. I think that would be great.
Be incredible.
Yeah.
I might even go as far as buying the model I want to do instead of going through our catalogue of unboxed miniatures.
Yeah, so you're wanting to have a look at a specific one from this book.
Yeah.
There was a very interesting model in here. Look at this here. This is the whole dog warrior thing.
The antipodes.
Yeah, check that out. But before that, he did a monster, right? Which is in here somewhere. It's kind of an alien. This is him here, right? So if you were interested in how you would get cool kind of alien-esque organic skin tones, these are in here. But one of the things that he did was, look at this, if you can see it. He even has spittle effects in the mouth and across the back carapace. These kind of stringy slabbers, as we call them over here.
This was something that I spoke to Carlos about.
Yeah.
Because that actual miniature, and another one he uses, it's a little beautiful girl with a little bob cut. He actually had the sculptor to infinity up the scale of their minis and then run them out for him to actually just do tutorials and stuff on.
Yeah.
So he basically got them to make the busts that he's painting. And,
yes.
All right.
Yes, well, I think most of them.
Yeah.
Well, if you like the idea of John sitting down and doing a filming session of where he takes on Angel's book to see the end result, because ultimately we already know that Angel is a brilliant painter.
Yeah.
But Angel's legacy will, from doing this, is not about his painting. It's about whether this book can make you a better painter.
Yep.
So this, to me, feels like the ultimate test for the book.
Yeah.
And I think the fairest test to do is to take one of the models in there exactly as it is and follow the steps exactly as they are.
To see what happens.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think it would be nice if, at the end of the tutorial, I was able to get the image of the final model from this and mine put together, and we just see, and just grade it and just see, well, how much did I learn?
How close could you get? Right. If you guys are liking the idea of that, put it in the comments below, and we will most certainly make that happen. And we'll make that happen fairly quickly, till we see how we go, because we have most of everything we need to do that already on hand.
Once I've picked and purchased the model.
Okay. Right. I've got one more book that I want to talk about. This one's not in print yet.
Right.
Okay.
On Monday morning, or a Monday at some point, Myth goes back to Kickstarter. Now, for any of you guys that have watched Myth Week, you'll know that myself and Lloyd are huge fans of Myth.
Yep, and if you missed it, click this link.
And you can go and check out Myth Week. It is a fabulous cooperative, one of the, probably the best cooperative game in the market, okay? It's a fabulous cooperative adventure toolkit, right? It's like Gauntlet on the tabletop, okay? But it has aspects of RPG and stuff in there. It's going back to Kickstarter with 2 new expansions, Blackwall Warrens and The Shores of Canis, a real Egyptian theme to it. It looks absolutely brilliant. But before it even got to Kickstarter, I have a huge highlight. I was going, Megacon Games, I love you. I love you. They've released for free a version 2 of the rulebook. Right. Now, anybody that's watched Myth Week will have seen me say it's a fabulous game, but the rulebook makes it
a little intimidating.
It's difficult to get into. It's not an easy game to get into, but once you get into it, you and your friends are going to have the best crack, because the game encourages you to be dialoguing the whole time. You're constantly planning what you're going to do next. I'm going to run in there, but I need you to cast that spell first, and then that buffs me, and I can go in and do this. But when I do this, you follow up and go.
Yeah, or the old. Okay, but hang on. If you do that, the darkness is going to activate and hit me before you can actually get that done. So let's try another plan.
If you ever wanted a great night's entertainment where you're just in total dialogue the whole time, this is the game for you. But that rulebook didn't make it particularly easy. So, what did they do? They enlisted the help of Adam Sadler. Now, you may not know who Adam Sadler is, and it's not Adam Sandler. It's
he was hoping.
Adam Sadler is known for his work in Fantasy Flight.
Okay.
He was the guy behind the rules for Descent 2 and X-Wing. And Adam is a huge fan of Myth, the board game, and reached out to the guys at Megacon Games and said, look, I'd really like to help out. So they got him on board, and he has completely rewritten the rules. And I was spending an afternoon this week looking through it, and it's fabulous. Adam, you are a hero, an absolute hero. He has made the game so clear-cut, so step-by-step. These rules, I think, are a huge possibility now for anybody that wants to get into the game. Get yourself those 2.0 rules. You will not regret it. And if you've already been playing the game and you've been kind of struggling a little bit with the sequence and the mechanics of it, get yourself those rules. They are so well done.
So it's the same gameplay, but it's just been made easier to understand.
Yes, it's structured. The previous rulebook didn't really structure in a fashion that it was easy to follow.
Right.
This goes step by step, from laying everything out to doing the first bit, to doing the second bit, to doing the third bit, and it's all there, and it's all really well written and a lot clearer in many ways. You know, I don't want to hammer on the first rule book, you know, too much. You know, it was what it was. But this one is such an improvement, you know, and it's for anybody that wants to get into the game or is thinking about that Kickstarter. Go download those 2.0 rules and have a flick through them. You will immediately start to feel, yes, I feel safer in this game because I can have those rules beside me, and as we go through the game, the rulebook logically follows it, rather than going flip, 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 flip. Flip, 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 flip. Where is this? Flip, flip, flip. Yeah, which is what you were having with the previous rulebook.
From my own look at the previous rulebook, there was a certain, whoever wrote it, there was a certain assumption that you kind of already knew what you were up to. That's what I thought. It did feel a bit like, you know, it's there was an assumption of already knowing stuff.
Yeah, and it was difficult to get past that, but it's now completely solved. That 2.0 rulebook, absolutely brilliant. He didn't stop at the rulebook though. They also redid all the cards. Right. And use consistent language across all the cards as well. So, I imagine that this next Myth Kickstarter is going to be big. The game is huge. You know, it's been really well received. You know, our buddies over at Dice Tower absolutely loved it as well, and I can completely understand why. You know, when you're into board games, a lot of board games kind of feel of the same cut. You know. This is similar mechanics. It's the same feel. It's the same, you know, kind of thing where we're all playing against each other, and it's not really encouraging a great night's entertainment.
It feels like it's rather just a change of scenery than a change of location.
Yeah, there's a fair bit of sameness in the marketplace, you know, but this game here for me is unique. You know, I can't think of another game in the marketplace that works with the same mechanics that this does. And it really does encourage that cooperative play far more than any other game that I've played that's been in cooperative play. And the darkness itself, the mechanics of the darkness, which is your kind of AI opponent in all of this.
Yeah, so the whole idea of the more you do, the more it does.
Balances beautifully. Yeah. And you start, as you start to become more powerful and as you start to become more reckless, you can feel the darkness pushing back and going, you know, I'm not having that. Yeah. You know, you keep that up and I'm going to squish you. Because the darkness will squish you. If you piss it off, it will squish you. So it's coming to Kickstarter. There's some really cool things coming. There's new heroes, new monsters, and there's a dark path is now being added for the hero characters to follow.
So they can go from being heroes to villains, is it?
Yeah, it's starting to add that whole dark path to the thing. There's some really interesting stuff going on. So I'm looking forward to Monday to seeing what comes out of all of this. So tune in to the Myth Kickstarter.
Awesome.
Right. We said it was going to be a fairly sharp weekender because we've got a lot of work to do this morning. But I have one more thing that I want to talk about, and that is the World War 2.5 article series from Oriskany is now coming to its conclusion. It's been a fabulous series where he has played out a whole what-if scenario that happened, you know, just around the end of the Second World War.
So as if Russia had suddenly started heading back further into Germany than just going, right, we've took the head, let's finish up.
I loved the concept.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved the concept. And then today I love it even more. And I'll tell you why, and he's going to love this.
Okay,
you're going to love this.
All right.
Dave Shoulder, if you're watching, you're going to be ever so proud of me.
Uh-oh.
Okay, it's a bit of a story, a little bit of a tale.
Okay.
Okay.
Studio One has been sitting empty for a little while. We don't have very much that we're going to do with it just yet, okay? So I asked my other half, would it be okay if I went out and turned it into a little bit of a home cinema? My other half, not being Lloyd, I asked him first, and he said, yeah, okay, we're not using it. My other half, Andrea, okay? So I took my TV out, and myself and Lloyd bought a surround sound system between us when we were students 18 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay?
Sorry, I thought you meant you had bought one for it now.
No. We bought one between us when we were at university, and would you believe it that we had never set it up as surround?
Yeah.
Because at the time we couldn't get it working. I then moved house a few times, and you had to run cables all around the living room and stuff like that there, so I never got it working. I then had neighbours from hell who would have complained if I'd fluffed, never mind if I put on a surround sound.
Right.
So in 18 years, I never ever got it set up as surround sound.
Right.
And it was sitting down in the lockup. So I went down to the lockup, as excited as you could possibly imagine, and brought it up, and tested it, switched it all on.
So hang on, this TV from however many years ago,
Surround sound
from however many years ago, hooked up to a modern day TV.
Yeah. Well, it was using, I'm getting technical now, it uses coaxial digital, so a digital from a coax cable, whereas everything now brings digital either out of HDMI, which didn't exist, or optical, which it didn't have.
Yep.
But I happen to have an optical to coaxial digital converter.
Okay.
So I was able to get it to connect, and I got it working. So I went in, I run my speaker cable, and Andrea laughed her head off because I was skipping around the house.
So just you going corner to corner in Studio One going, tee.
Well, it's worth saying, you know, Andrea was laughing her head off because all I have wanted in 20 years, 20 years, all I've ever wanted was a surround sound. I'm just, I love movies. And I love surround sound. I know my little girl's going to be the same because I took her to see Frozen in the cinema, and it was like magic had turned on. And with the surround sound, she kept getting up out of her seat and looking behind her. And, where's all that coming from? And ever since seeing that a year or two back, I thought, I have to make this happen.
Yeah.
Here was my chance. Got it all set up.
Yeah.
Okay. Put on The Hobbit, okay?
A good choice.
The scene where the dwarves are chipping away in
first mining scene
in the hole
opening.
in the mountain when they find the Arkenstone. Oh, chipping was all around me. I was in glorious times.
Please tell me you got a beanbag for this.
I did get a beanbag.
Nice.
I did have a beanbag. I was sitting bang in the middle of Studio One, completely empty. Me, TV, and my 18-year-old surround sound.
Nice.
And it then blew up.
Oh.
After 3 hours. I was starting to fall asleep and it switched off. And it stopped working, and I was a bit too sleepy to understand what was going on, so I thought, I'll deal with it in the morning. So I turned everything off, and I came in the morning, and it wouldn't work. It had completely gone. And Andrea walked in, and she was telling me after the fact, the look on your face was so pitiful. and she says, I can't even remember the words because I was welling up. After
the quivering lip.
After 18 years or 20 years of wanting surround sound, to finally
get it for 3 hours.
And she says my exact words to her. I say my exact words. It was something along the lines of, well, at least I got to spend my final evening with it. So I was gutted. Anyway, she felt so sorry for me that she went and ordered me a surround sound.
Nice.
Okay. So I have it on a little HP thing, so I pay it off a little bit at a time. But you know, Andrea, thank you so much for that. I don't know if you get the chance to watch these weekenders these days because you're so busy with all these babies. But thank you so much. I don't think you'll ever know just how much of how special that has been for me to finally have a relatively good quality surround sound. this leads me to my point of why you and Dave Shoulder are going to be proud of me and why I'm so enamored with World War 2.5. I watched Patton.
One of the best, one of the finest war movies out there.
Hair on the back of my neck standing up.
And it shows you how much of a lunatic that man was.
He was
barmy.
Barmy.
Yep.
Absolutely barmy.
Come on, you should be right in the nose.
But so likable.
Yeah.
Now, the reason the whole World War 2.5 thing it rung even truer for me is that when the Second World War was drawing to a close, he wanted to continue on and take on Russia there and then.
Patton was all very anti-Russian at the end of the war. He said, we cannot let them sit here. We cannot let them have Berlin.
Yeah.
It just can't happen because they will come for us if we don't go for them. His
exact words were along a time where we're going to end up fighting them anyway. At least let me do it now when I have an army here to do it with.
Yeah.
He was a fascinating guy. I didn't realize that he was influenced by his own beliefs in reincarnation. That he felt that he had been
reborn many times
soldier,
as a warrior.
As a warrior. You know, the fact that he died just a few months after the Second World War, when he was told, basically, we've no more need for you.
Yeah.
I think it was almost like he died and then died again. But this is, and I don't know if Oriskany did it, but this is as if Patton got his way.
Yeah.
It's I would have had Patton still alive in this. I must check with Oriskany if he did it.
Yeah.
But the whole what if scenario of what if it hadn't ended? What if you had basically took the Germans then, what was left as allies, which is what basically kind of happened anyway. A lot of the officers in Patton's kind of
the early version of NATO.
Were German officers anyway. So what if that had happened, and then the even bigger battle, and it would have been enormous.
It would have been awful.
Well, probably less awful than what it would be now if it happened.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like at the end of the war, the Russians had the JS3s, wasn't it, starting to roll out?
They had JS3s.
We've mentioned it before.
They didn't have million megaton nuclear weapons, though, did they?
They were months off. Well, they were a couple of years off, but
but a couple of years would have made the difference. I don't think that. Well, maybe that war would have lasted more than years. If you want to find out, come over to Beasts of War and check out this World War 2.5. If you're a backstager, boy oh boy, do we have a treat for you. Not only did he play out the whole battle, he has wrote a 60-page rulebook.
Oh wow!
Okay, the entire thing is catalogued in a rulebook for you to take and play for yourself. And if you're a backstager, you can download that rulebook and go and play it out yourself. He's got a few notes here. 30 pages of this are like covers. There's tables of contents, counters, map sheets, 12 pages of maps in there.
Nice.
And about 10 more pages are like designer's notes, helpful tips, and background fluff to the whole thing. The actual rules themselves are only about 20 pages, okay? There's a large font, and he's got graphics and examples and all in there of how to actually play it out. It's got a reference style, so you should be able to quickly flip through it to do kind of lookups and stuff during your game. The series has been absolutely superb. Oriskany, you have absolutely outdone yourself this time. I couldn't recommend it enough. So go watch Patton. Go watch Patton, then come back to Beasts of War and check out this World War 2.5, because this is what Patton himself, if he had his way,
would have done.
This is what would have happened.
Yeah.
This is what would have happened. Anyway, guys, look, thank you so much for joining us. Tomorrow morning, we've got our XLBS. That's the extra long backstage version of this show. It's open to the Beasts of War backstagers. Beasts of War backstagers are community members who pay a very small monthly subscription of £3.79. And they get access to a whole lot of extra content and some extra kind of features and things like that there. It's a really great way to round out your whole hobby experience. But more so than that, for us, it's what keeps Beasts of War alive. It's what allows us to be able to pay the rent, to pay the bills, to make the content that goes out. So all this free content that we put out as well can only be done because of the support of our backstage community. As well as that, it gives us our independence. You know, it removes our reliance on any one form of funding. So it allows us to, you know, be able to stand up in this industry and say, yeah, we want to see this, or we want to talk about that, or we want to do this. You know, it allows us as a community to be our own community, and you know, we're not beholden because of that. It might seem like a small point, but in today's world of publishing, I suppose it's one of those things that becomes probably even more important. You know, the ability that as a community we're able to stand up ourselves and be within this industry as an entity of our own.
The other thing is, backstagers get first bite at the boot camp weekends.
That's true. That's true. If you are a backstager, whenever we run boot camps and the events is going to become probably a bigger part of Beasts of War as we move forward, you know, because we want to do more with the community, both here at the headquarters, but also maybe in other locations as we grow and as we continue to grow. The first options on that go to backstagers. Backstagers always get first refusal. And for these first couple of boot camps, fortunately, but also unfortunately, they've never even made it outside of backstage. We haven't had any tickets left to go.
Well, I think the Bolt Action one went in a little over 2 hours, was it?
After 2 hours, we had about three tickets left, and then they went about an hour after that. So they do sell out quickly, but we do try to give warning, and we are looking at another one for June. I'm just waiting to hear back if our friends who are quite far away but are interested in coming here to do a weekend of awesome boot camp.
Okay, as soon as we're off camera, you're telling me what this one is.
Yeehaw. Well, we'll have to wait and see. You know, there's logistics to be worked out. Anyway, guys, look, thank you so much for spending the morning with us. Please consider coming across to beastsofwar.com and joining up to our backstage community. We have a ton of content over there that's exclusive for backstage, tons of tutorials and things like that. And you get to spend your Sunday mornings with us where we wax lyrical about all kinds of stuff. Thank you, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure. Normally, we'd get up and maybe get ready to go home. Now we're going to go and get our gloves on and start making more terrain. Guys, happy gaming, and we will see you next week during the live blogging of the Dropzone Commander Boot Camp weekend.